Welcome to this spotlight video on Level 3 Process Scheduler Actions for Sage 300 to create GL New Year Open and Close Fiscal Period. And these are new actions as of March 2026.
In Process Scheduler, we have created 3 new Level 3 actions. The first one is to create a GL New Year. So this runs the GL Periodic Processing Create New Year process. The next 2 are to open a specific fiscal year and period per module, or to close a specific fiscal year and period per module. When would you use these? So they expand on our existing actions. So we've always had create fiscal calendar, which just creates the new year with all the periods being open. But now you can create the new GL year in conjunction with creating the fiscal calendar. And we've had open and close of the next periods. So having a look in the help on how those work, we've always had the ability to open the next period, which allows you to open the subsequent period, the one after the last open period, and allows you to close the earliest open period. So using those in conjunction when you need them, you can open the next period and then close the current period. But it's always been relative to what's open and closed at the moment. But now you are able to open a specific year and period. So for example, you might be in June and need to open January for a particular reason in a number of companies. And these functions are particularly useful when you have multiple Sage 300 databases, because you can at one click run these tasks across multiple databases, saving you logging in and out of the companies and running those same tasks. So having a look at this in Sage 300, if we go to our Process Scheduler Setup Schedule screen and pick up the Create New Year schedule, you can see that we're always sending an email when the schedule runs. That is the message that we're going to use when we send the email. And then in Org Limited, we're going to open the year. And then in Org Limited, we're going to create the GL New Year. So Open Year runs the Common Services Fiscal Calendar Create New Year. And this runs the GL process, the GL Periodic Processing GL Create New Year. And we're doing that in Org Limited, and then in Orking 2, Orking 3, and Orking 4. And then you could create a schedule to run this through Windows Task Scheduler. If you wanted to run now, you could do so as long as there were no other users in Orking 2, Orking 3, or Orking 4, as GL requires exclusive access. But you're not able to run now when you're in the Process Scheduler company itself, because you are a user within that company. So you'd have to use the Windows Task Scheduler to schedule this schedule if it contains the company where you store your schedules. And having a look at the open and close specific periods, this schedule has been set up to run in Org Limited, followed by Orking 2, 3, and 4. And if we look at the detail, it is opening a specific fiscal year and period for all modules. And in this case, I'm in April 2026, and it is opening all modules for 2026-01. And then after doing what we need to do, we could run a second schedule, which would then close that same specific period. But when you're using open and close fiscal year and fiscal period, you can choose per company the actual module that you want to do as well. So if you were only wanting to open accounts payable and general ledger, for example, you could have 2 lines per company opening January 2026 for accounts payable and general ledger. And the setup that you need for Process Scheduler to run these sorts of schedules in the options, you need to configure which of your companies you're going to store your schedules in, and in my case, it's in Orc Limited. And then for all those companies that you want to run an action in, you need to specify a user ID and a password for Process Scheduler to use to log into that company and run that particular function. And I'd also like to draw your attention to our report for print schedules, because although this prints the schedules that you've set up, it also includes the last status and any log file that you have from that particular schedule in the last run. So it's quite a useful audit tool and checking tool as well. So we can see that with our daily checks, the last time it was run, what the status was, and if there's any log files, where the log file is. But remember, this is also accessible from within the schedule. You can look at the audit trail within a date range, and it shows you the full audit history of when that schedule was run and if there were any error messages and the emails that were sent. So in our case, our process scheduler was unable to send an email, or it failed in this case. And on the detail page, you always have the last status when run. So the last run on this date and time, what the status was, and if there was a log, you can link to the log and open from here.